All right, according to Korah. That's good. Okay. Here we go, Maisim, but the master of prayer. So we spoke about the different sects. That one said that the main thing is covered, one said the main thing is dibur, one said the main thing is beauty, one said the main tachlis is simcha. And being that they disconnected the purpose from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so everything became corrupted. The covet became a politician. The dibur took a French guy that is crazy and talks nonstop, even to himself. And the one that said, the beauty, with all those sects, each one, we spoke at length about each and every one. And now, then we got to the one that is the main thing is Chochmah. There's another one that says the main thing is, to be heavyweight, to be healthy, to be strong like that. And now we get to the last sect Ramina speaks about. And there was a different sect that said, She'en kol ze tachlis. All these things are not the tachlis. Your tachlis is just lasok b'tefila l'Hashem Yisbarach. To be busy davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to be humble, shfal berach, and bikshula and baal tefila echad. They're looking for a prayer master. They made him a king. Rabbeinu says, and the reader will understand by itself, that all the other sects, they all fall into great mistakes. And only this last sect, they're the only one that actually aimed to the truth, Asher Chalkam. All this said, one of the Giborim said to the Baal Tefillah. And they said that they, in other words, the Giborim, the mighty ones, those that can swing for the fences, they're the ones that got to themselves, a heavy lifter, whatever, the weightlifter, whatever it is. That's the last cast that the Rebbe speaks about. And it's very interesting that this particular sect said the main thing is tachlis, is to be osik in tefillah and to be humble and look for about tefillah, and they made him a king upon them. This is not yet about tefillah. It's a about tefillah. In other words, they already are aimed toward the right thing. All the rest of the sects, each one took those qualities, whatever it is, which really have a source in Kedusha. The Kovod, the Hashem Yisbarach, that's the root of everything. The Chochmah, again, and each and every one, the Dibur is Gevaldig Azach, ultimately, speech comes from, Tefillah is speech. It says, very deeply in Torah Samach Beis, that the speech is the tool with which one elevates the holy sparks from the klipot. It's but they still don't have the real Baal Tefillah. They are in the right direction, but they still don't have the right Baal Tefillah. Motzei Shabbos, we spoke about what the Baal Shem Tov said. That somebody said to him, asked him, why is somebody, connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu? And then he falls from that. The Baal Shem, you were there on Motzei Shabbos? Oh, yeah, listen. Okay, so the Baal Shem Tov said, that it's like a child, like a baby that you're teaching how to walk. You have to let go and move so that will continue and get stronger, get into it. Otherwise, there's no challenge. I mean, why work hard? And the thing that we spoke about, that the main thing is about, the Baal Shem Tov said a few things in this little shtickle. One of the things, he taught us, how it goes when you're, but he also, there was a remez, we spoke about it, there was a remez that there are different kind of ways of being religious. The right way to do it is what this cut said, that there's no other tachas except for that. We say you got to be a pro. Now the thing is that Rabbeinu touches all the different sects. About COVID, speaks about money, speaks about foods, idol of foods, and speaks about dibur, speaks about all these things. And then he speaks about that. Because in truth, our lives combine all these sects together. We are all made up of these sects. Certain part of us looks for COVID. And when we don't get it, then we become very upset. And it says what certain sectors said that the main thing is the art of war. It took a murder. This is the midas hakas that is in us. And we find all kinds of justifications to why, him, it's a mitzvah to make a machlokes against them. It's a mitzvah to blow shofar also. So you're yotze with somebody else. Let somebody else be machlokes. And we're talking about, the COVID, even a mess is makbid on this COVID. This is Retzicha, the Japanese made art out of thing. Somebody that has plenty of foods, very edel foods, which talks about, Shibut Avesachila, and very, very few people actually to do. The Dibur, of course, and Simcha. Everybody has all these things, and everybody is also making these mistakes, taking these qualities to the wrong places. And Baruch Hashem, we're already reading this, which means we also have, saying that the tachlis is to pray to Kodesh Baruch Hu, the tachlis of everything. But we have all the other sects are active in us. That's why they as of yet they don't have the Baal Tefillah. Yeah, they have themselves a Baal Tefillah. They have somebody that teaches them. They're busy with that. But besides being busy with Tefillah as much as we are, there's covered, there is Ritzicha, there's Kas, there's little, cravings, not exactly, spitzponish. They have, all kinds of dinks and whatever it is that and the main thing is that when you realize that the main thing is tefillah, you can work with all the other inclinations. You can work with it. You can speak to Kodesh Baruch Hu about it. You can daven to Kodesh Baruch Hu about it. You can ask him. You can use a Kedushin. No. There was a Maisa that I told people that about a wrestler, the Chassid, that went with another guy, with a Fry guy, in a car in Tel Aviv. And there was no parking space. In Tel Aviv, there's no parking space even in Jest. Let's make believe there's parking space. Even that you cannot find in Tel Aviv. So the rest of it told him, something, we'll go around, I'll tell you what. I've asked Kadosh Baruch Hu to give us a parking space. And he did that. And sure enough, small little car came out, on the window. Yeah. And I told people this Maisa, and they were like, wow. What's the wow? I mean, it's like a miracle. No, it's not. If you think that this is a miracle, that means you don't have Shachas v'Kodesh Baruch Hu at all. Anybody that has Shachas v'Kodesh Baruch Hu, that speaks of Kodesh Baruch Hu, he knows. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is a merciful Avarachaman. When a son asks a merciful father for something, the default answer is yes, unless there's a reason to say no or not yet, because it's not good for the child. Other than that, why not? You're my son. If people look at something like this as a miracle, it means that, and it's a big problem. It's a big problem for people who are in Yiddishkeit, that they don't really get, what do you do with a Kodesh Baruch Hu? How does it fit into the picture? Like, Torah, you know what he needs to do. You need to learn Torah, fine. The Rebbe, you're supposed to give him kvitlach. The Rav is supposed to ask shilas. It's not tefillah, it's not Christian. Everything, you're good with everything except the odd man out, sticking out like a sore thumb. What do you do with a Kodesh Baruch Hu? My chavrusa told me that once a Rav asked, it's probably a joke. He asked a guy, have you been thinking about Kodesh Baruch Hu? The guy says, listen, I don't have time. I got to learn. I got to daven. I got to this. I got to. What's time to think about Kodesh Baruch Hu? Kodesh Baruch Hu belongs in the shul. He's like, this kind of. We know that we're in his hands. We know he's the creator. We know what he provides, but there's no contact. If you have contact with him, you talk to him, you ask him for anything. Adrabah. Asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything strengthens your emunah, strengthens your relationship. Rahal Tulchin, Reb Nachman of Tulchin, once stuck a nail into the wall and he hit his thumb. So Reb Nachman asked him, did you ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu that the nail should go in? Once Reb Nosson came to Rabbeinu and he was missing a button on his. So the Rebbe asked him, "Did you ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for a button?" So those, so Rabbeinu said, "For a button." Rabbeinu says, "Well, you're too great to ask for a button. Ask for everything." Shmuel Hanavi, his mother was barren. She was a prophetess. Her husband was a prophet. And she couldn't have any children. A famous story, but most of the din of tefillah we learn from Chana, the mother of Shmuel Hanavi. And she comes to Shiloh, and Eli Cohen was the shofet. He was the jad in those days. He was the Kohen Gadol. And the second wife, or her husband, used to shepherd with her all the time. And she did it, Lemaisa, she did it lishma, because she wanted Hannah to daven, to have children. But Lemaisa, was causing her tsar. Nebuch, she lost all her children. She had 10 children. She lost all of them. But Hannah went, and she does. And during that time, they used to speak loud to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and she davened, she was crying, and she was whispering. So Elia Cohen thought that she was drunk. And she told, what are you doing here? Speaking. Get sober first. So she says, Lo adoini. I'm a woman, with tsar, whatever it is, and I don't have. Rashi says, Lo adoini, you don't have a Ruach HaKodesh. You didn't see what it is I'm really doing. So Eli Cohen said, give a bracha, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, it's fine, Kodesh Baruch Hu will listen to your prayer. She made a nader. She's going to have a son. He's going to belong to Kodesh Baruch Hu. He's going to be by Mishkan Shila. He's going to serve Kodesh Baruch Hu. They were Levim. So what's that? And she gave birth to Shmuel Anovi. And when she brings him to Shiloh, to the Mishkan, they brought, steers. They brought parim, Shalom, Chagiga, whatever it is they brought. And there were not enough kahanim to shecht. So Shmuel said, Shchita is kosher b'zah. You don't need a kohen to shecht. So Eli Cohen said, you're right. But you're mori halacha b'fnei rabbi. You're paskin halacha before your rav. Anybody who is paskin halacha before the rav is chayav misa. Shemirachim. And he said to his mother, don't worry, I'm going to give you another one better than this. Better than Shmuel. Hannah says, this boy I davened for. What is she telling him? What's the answer here? She basically told him, yes, you can give me a son that is better. Will be higher madrigas. Whatever it is that it will be. But you cannot give me a child who is a result of a prayer. I daven for this boy. This you can give me. Whatever it is that you ask for anything, it becomes a gedaven dazach. You prayed for. There was, Rabbi Yemer Saba, the Zohar, there says, every day, even if he had his food there, before he would eat, he would ask Hashem to give him food. Food was already there. What are you talking about? Sliced, with the side dishes, everything was there. Before he ate, he would ask Hashem for the food. Why? Because then the food is different. It's a result of prayer. A prayed life, like a davening labor. And that's still, the tzaddik still didn't enter the picture. You already realized that's the tachlis, but there's still other shmos. It's the covet, the this, the that, the anger, the what, everything is still there. Because the tzaddik is still not in the picture. But Hashem, as the story continues, this is how that's, when it gets in, this is when everything with Hashem, comes together. But this machshava, that it's just a different mindset. It's only people that are the curve to the tzaddik can have this mindset. Rabbeinu said, this world cheats everybody. Did you listen to the radio? Did you hear what's new? Did you hear that? Did you hear this? Did you hear that? Whatever. This world deceives everyone. Rabbeinu says, this you receive from me, that the world would not deceive you. It's a matana that cannot be explained. How precious this is. That life won't deceive you. I mean, we learn in Torah at Gimel. Amazing Torah, when we're going to be high and think the tzaddik brings all the neshamas, people come to him to hear Torah, it brings up their neshamas, it brings down Torah. Baruch Hashem, we learned it at great length. And that particular Torah, it comes afterwards. Rabbeinu says, he says he was in the Rabbi Weiss, can you please just mute yourself? Would you mind?
Here, wait.
That he says he was in the sea, he was in a boat, and there were waves. The wave of the sea was so strong that they lifted the ship so high that it almost got to a certain star called Mabata de Koch Vezuta. So we're going any higher, would have been fried. And then it says that one wave said to the other, Chaverti, my friend, Shema Shavikt Mide Be'alma, maybe there's something in the world that you still haven't. It's okay. Is there still something in this world that you didn't totally wash? So the other wave says, come see the strength, the might of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're asking me if I washed out the entire world, if I finished destroying the entire world, or washed it off. He says, I wasn't able to even cross the line of demarcation between sea and continent, even a hairbreadth. Don't have a rishus. Right? I couldn't do it. So Rabbeinu says that when the Talmidim come out from hearing the Torah or the tzaddik, and so they're so fired up. One of them says to the other, my friend, is it still you have some kind of a midah or a bad midah you haven't eradicated from you? Come, I will come and I'll help you out. His friend says, I want to tell you that I did not get out of chol, the sand, some chulin. I haven't gotten out from my old self even a hairbreadth. I still haven't been able to get out. That poses a great question. Yitzchak Karmel Zechat Tzaddik Baruch used to speak about that. What's the point? So, if you after you went to the tzaddik elevated your neshama, to these heights, whatever it is, Ma'alat Koch Vezuta, and brought down Torah, and after everything else, you still haven't been able to get, like a hairbreadth out of your privacy. So what's this whole thing for? So he said the whole thing is for that and it hurts you, and you're bothered by the fact that you haven't gotten out of your times. This is what you're getting from the tzaddik. the fact that, and with that, you serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Otherwise, man, everything's cool, man. What do you want? No, you should not do this with your fingers. There says not to do it. Sorry, thank you. That, the fact that I don't accept the fact that I haven't gotten out of my Midas first, and it bothers me, and I'm working on it, and I want it, that's what you get from the tzaddik. That is shtoikikus. I mean, it says, this is what you receive from me. The world won't be able to cheat you. You'll know what's what. What you're able to do, what you're not able to do, that's a different mice. We'll talk about it at a different time. But that's the main thing. That's the kas, that's the sect that understood that the main thing is to daven the Kadosh Baruch Hu, to be humble, and to give way. They're ready for the tzaddik to come. Even though they have all the other sects in them, they have all the other midas they have it in them. It's still Hashem Yazor, Bezat Hashem, all these other Bezat Hashem, to come close and connect ourselves to the tzaddik emes Bezat Hashem. Bezat Hashem will be in Ummah for Rosh Hashanah Bezat Hashem. Bezat Hashem, Chaim Tovim, L'Sholem Bezat Hashem. Begel Chaim Tovim, L'Sholem Bezat Hashem. Akol Bezat Hashem, Zochet Gvul Hashem. Bezat Hashem, Imor Rabbeinu Amen. Bezat Hashem. Alrighty, let's stop the recording.